Hi, everybody. I'm taking this quick opportunity to talk about how to normalize a child's fears in a way that they can integrate it and learn how to manage it and sit with those complex sensations that will come up all throughout life. So, I recently posted a post about how if we are going to fixing or saying everything is okay, or really trying to dive in and solve problems there for kids, it really isn't helping them to develop the capacity to sit with these emotions on their own. So, let's go through some common child fears and think about how this will impact us when we're guiding a child through this. So, the first thing I want to think about is that when a child is afraid of something, it feels truly real to them. So, for us to judge what is and isn't scary or what is and isn't stressful is a tough spot to be. And the more stressed that we are, the more we will likely be judgmental of their experience and what is feeling stressful to them in the moment. So, first things first is to check our own judgments, check our own stress, and think about what narratives we are bringing in and what emotions of our own we are bringing in order to meet this child with respect and humanity as an individual. So, this will look really different per child, but really common kids' fears are things like being alone, being in the dark, dogs or animals, going to the doctor or getting a medical procedure done, loud, unexpected, especially unexpected noises that they can't locate or they aren't sure what they are. And then something like imaginary things in the room or something under the bed or something in the closet, things like that. So, the first thing we want to do is validate what they're feeling. So, we want to let them know that this emotion makes sense. And why this is because if we say that everything is fine and it's okay, it's setting up this discord and mismatch because in their body and in their nervous system, they're truly feeling like things are not okay. So if we tell them that everything is fine, it sets up this incongruence in reality that really leads to mental problems that lead to confusion. So think about all throughout life when we're feeling something, if we can identify what we're feeling and why, that helps the nervous system to settle. It's when we don't know why and we have all this confusion and these layers of emotion that we aren't sure what to do with. That's when it gets overwhelming and it feels really tough to manage. So, the first thing we want to do is validate and then ask questions if possible. So, I'd want to know, what is it about the dark that feels scary? Or what dog is feeling scary? Is there a moment that they're thinking about? Is there a certain thing that they're thinking about? Is it that the dog licks? Is it that the dog moves quickly? Is it that the dog is unpredictable? Is it that the dog feels really big, or they're not sure if it's kind or mean or going to bite? Or where have they heard that dogs bite? Or what's the experience that's driving this narrative? So we really want to understand this individual human in front of us and what they are going through. And that gives us a nice foundation for the next step. So, first, we want to validate the emotion no matter what it is. Second, ask questions. And then three, normalize the why behind it. So I might say something like, well, it makes sense that you might feel nervous. Dogs move so fast. Maybe that is feeling a little bit fearful. Dogs lick. Why do they do that? That dog is licking and licking and licking, and it's so unexpected. And he licks your hand, and he licks your leg, and he licks your nose, and he jumps up on you. It's so surprising. Maybe that feels surprising, or maybe that feels a little bit scary. And then how that makes sense. So I might say something with this example that I know so many kids who are afraid of dogs, or I used to be afraid of dogs. I've been afraid of dogs too. Or I know a lot of kids that are worried about being alone or worried about being in the dark and don't like to be in the dark. That feels natural to me. So it's really helping to normalize whatever the feeling that they're having is and whatever the narratives are around it before we move on. So when we move on, we don't want to dwell too long in this fear emotion because what emotional research says is that it's about a 90-second release for us to feel the emotion and move through it. And the harder or the fewer opportunities we have regulating, the longer it will take because the narratives that we have are not clear and they're confusing. So that's why emotional overwhelm can feel much, much longer than that 90-second window. We're just hoping to catch kids at this opportunity where they do have that 90-second release and we want to move through it. So Yes, it absolutely will last longer than that. We are humans, nothing is cut and dry. Every situation, every child is different. But if we can look at it from a lens that is supportive to this emotional release and accepting of it and normalizing of it, that window actually gets much smaller. As much as we like to think that it's so time consuming to do this, and it will be sometimes because it's a constant trial and error and there's no perfection and there's no guidebook for each child, it will help that child to ultimately self regulate through these things down the road. So if we're fixing or we're saying, oh no, dogs are nice, dogs are, look how cute it is. It's not scary. It's a cute, nice dog. He doesn't bite. It's not helping that child to develop the skills on their own within them with our support. It is avoiding that sensation. So they're relying on us, this external thing, to get through that emotion. And that is what we don't want. We don't want them to rely on us to fix it or tell them it's okay or shape their reality in a way that really doesn't match their body experience. So the next thing would be to move on and think about empowering together. So it isn't saying that we just leave and say, okay, go play with the dog. You're on your own now. No, it is saying that we think about ways, oh, let's sit and watch it. I might get down with their body, put a hand on them, whatever feels secure for that child. Let's watch it for a minute. I'm so curious. Look how fast he's moving. Oh, he's wagging his tail. I wonder what that means. And helping to develop this interest and curiosity or wondering about what might work for that child in that situation. So maybe it's something where if it's something going to bed at night, maybe you develop a plan before. This feels like a big problem. I wonder what we could do tomorrow night to help feel safer. Maybe I will sit in your room while you fall asleep and I'll be there on the floor until you fall asleep and then I'll leave. Maybe that would feel better. Or let's read 2 books and do a body massage and then I'll sit with you for a minute and then I'll leave. I wonder if that would help to calm your body before bed. Or you're gradually moving away from that. So maybe the next night I'll sit outside the door. So inside seemed to be helpful, that seemed to work for you for the situation. So tomorrow maybe I'll sit outside the door. Let's try that. I bet that'll work. And then just be really confident that they can get through it and really confident in their ability to manage those emotions. So it isn't that every single fear needs to be addressed like this. Some fears are totally just normal and okay to be there. You know, if they don't want to watch a scary movie, we're not going to force them and go through this process to get them to watch a scary movie. We really want to check where they are in their development and their mental status and their security and meet them where they are every time. So that is what I mean by normalize the why. So many questions and comments about it. Let me know what you think. Let me know other fears that your kids may be having, and we can help to brainstorm ways around them. So that is it for today. And thanks so much for those of you who've subscribed. Please subscribe to this channel and leave any comments below. Would love to hear from you. Until next time.